So it's a good brisk start to date by Australia. They've added 7 already.
And there was that hesitation that Wood so often produces in his running partner.
Just a gentle breeze, as you can see from that windsock there. Oh, it's a lovely shot. Dropped short by Willis and fairly hammered away by Kim Hughes. Glorious shot. It's another good shot, this time from the left-hander Wood. Over pitched on his leg stump. Food and drink really there for him. Substitute Edmonds, who's come out to field for Willis, doing the work out there, and Graham Wood gets 3 for it. Let's leave a 1 for 9 now from this pavilion end. Try his luck again against Hughes. It's over pitched and half volley. That's what a half volley should get. It's driven quite beautifully through mid-off. Randall giving chase, just about to pull it up. And it's a shot that was worth 4 runs of anybody's money. But the slow outfield doing its work here means that Wood only got 3 for it.
Now we see what Mike Brearley meant when he said during the rest day that plenty of shots that were worth 4 haven't been gaining 4 runs. The outfield is very lush.
It was a very good and apt remark, that, Frank. Not only has it slowed the down, but it's helped to keep the shine on the ball for the quicker bowlers.
Well, certainly Hughes hit that with everything he got, and it still didn't reach the boundary.
So Hughes on 11 now. It's taken very low down too by Bob Taylor. He's having another look down there.
Yes, but again the ball moved off the wicket, as it has done so often with the bowler coming from this end. You can see probably moved about 6 to 9 inches. But even if Wood had edged that, there'd have been a doubt as to whether the ball would have carried.
That's over pitched again. Now it's Wood giving it the treatment this time. Through mid wicket. Once again it won't go through to the boundary as well as fields. Willis again to Hughes. And he's beautifully caught. Tremendous catch. Willis has struck. Great catch again in the gully, this time by Gooch. Australia 2 for 36 and Kim Hughes has gone. Hughes out for 12. And I think possibly a little bit unlucky because he fairly middled that. It was a glorious catch.
He was unlucky in one respect. He hit it straight to the fieldsman. A short ball. A legitimate shot which he failed to get on top of because the bounce was just a little bit more than he expected, and he hit it straight to Gooch.
And Willis to Yallop. And it very nearly paid off. Didn't pitch too far in front of Boycott.
Both of them to Wood. There's a good hook shot there. Looks like 4 runs if Boycott giving chase, but he won't catch that. So Wood goes on to 19 and it's 2 for 40. Have another look at that hook shot. So at the bowler's end, and he's hit the stumps, but Wood safely home. They're looking for another run, which they could have had, but not taking it. And there's Jeff Boycott, the man who threw that. Fine piece of fielding, but they've got the single. Willis to Wood. that is a wide, I'm sure. Yes, and it's 4 runs. Oh, there's a nasty one. Now that cut back the other way and it's hit Yallop just above the pad on his left leg, and that hurt.
There's no padding there, just above the pad. They always seem to get. Once you hear, see Graham's gone back to this straight away, and that ball's quite well up. It's given it plenty of time to cut, and that's what creates a problem. If he'd been forward there, he probably would have covered it all right.
Both of them now round the wicket to Wood. No ball. Fine hook shot. 4 runs. Wood goes on to 26. It's 2 for 50.
Wood very quickly on anything short. In good position here, getting inside the ball and helping it on the way.
So it's Graham Yallop, the Australian captain, still struggling to get off the mark. There's Willis to bowl to him. It's no run, it's gone to Randall at cover. Off the edge, and he's off the mark. A very unhappy Bob Willis there, showing his disappointment.
Yes, I think that was another catch.
May well have carried.
Have a look at this now. Graham once again pushing down the onside. And I'm sure it was a catch there.
Both them to Wood. One, back for 2. Gower the fieldsman. Wood goes on to 28, 2 for 56. So hook, and it's up in the air. Boycott's underneath it, and I think he'll be out, and he's dropped it. So Wood's a lucky escape there. He got 1 run for it. He goes to 29. But a nasty swirling catch. They're not easy, those, and Jeff Boycott not judging it.
Boycott always looked in trouble on that one. He was kept backing back instead of turning round, running, and then having a look. The hook, you'll see Boycott here. Backing back all the time. Always in trouble. And finally, well away from the ball. It could have well been swirling up there, moving around. Excellent camera shot too.
Those comments from Bob Simpson, and now with about 40 minutes to go to lunch, it's Hendrick to bowl to Yallop. It's a bit uppish, that one off the bat, but falling well short of Randall. This morning then, 47 runs have been scored in just over 80 minutes. And here's the replay of that. Now, watch it go up, but it falls well short of the cover fieldsman. An appeal for caught behind, but not out. Yes, he's out. Very long delay by umpire Brooks, but it's long enough to say not out. But Brooks deliberating there for something like 5 or 6 seconds, and Yallop caught down the leg side by Taylor off the bowling of Hendrick for 3, and Australia 3 for 58.
Yes, that's a very confident appeal by every fieldsman, and Tom Brooks took a long while. Now let's see all the fieldsmen, if we can, see them all go up together. Well, it didn't seem to change course much, did it? Well, I wouldn't like to adjudicate that. And Umpire Brooks gave him out, so he's out. That's the whole thing. But it did not deflect. Didn't appear to deflect one little bit. So the game goes on. Australia in a lot of trouble now. 3 for 58, and much depends on Tui and Koji, the next 2 batsmen to come in.
The batsman out there for this morning, Darling, was out yesterday, of course, for 5. He was caught Boycott bowled Lever. Hughes caught Gooch bowled Willis for 12 this morning, and Yallop caught Taylor bowled Hendrick for 3. Now here's Tui, the top scorer for Australia in the first innings, 81 not out, and he comes in now with Australia in a Bit of a plight out there now.
Yes, well, the odds are swung. They've always been heavily in England's favour, and that's even more so now. And the weather forecasts are pretty good today, unlike the storm we had last night. And Australia have a real battle on their hands because there's a lot of time left for the Englishmen to dislodge the Australian batsmen.
Well, before you came on, Keith, you made some interesting observations about that missed catch by Boycott. It looked bad, but wasn't as bad as it seemed.
No, when you've been out in the middle, things a little differently to what you see when you're off the field. And the point is this, that the ball went very high, and they are possibly the worst catches of all to take. You have too long to think about them. And you've got to remember, Geoffrey Boycott has contact lenses. And another thing, the sun is straight above. If you like to look at the shadows of the fieldsmen, it's straight below them. And I would say that Boycott would have been looking straight into the sun because he misjudged it badly in the end. He got a hand to it, but he's completely out of position. But you got to remember that when you're looking up the sky, and as I say, you can just look at the fieldsmen there. There's no shadow at all except straight below them. So I'd say Boycott, a bit unlucky, looking straight into the sun.
Now Hendrick to Tui. And Peel for caught behind, and he's out. Hendricks on a hat-trick. Less sensation. 2 wickets in 2 balls.
Well. 100 one day, they say, and a duck the next. Well, Peter Tui, 81 not out, almost 100 in the first innings, and first ball in next innings. And, well, here we go again. Let's see how much deflection there is. Well, that seemed to come straight through, and of course you watch the fieldsman and the bowler, they all went up. They had no qualms about that being touched, and Tom Brooks, 2 decisions in a row, and they were very tough decisions.
Hendrick to Cozier, bowling for the hat-trick. And he got that right in the middle.
Played like a man in form, wasn't it? Played like a man in real top form.
And runs here. There's nobody there. Of course, a long chase for Randall. Randall flying from the far side of the field, and they'll take 2. Randall fielding that ball from cover point. He must have run him 100 metres to get there.
In 9.2 seconds, Norman May.
Now, was that a catch? By the reaction, there was a reaction from the players out there. That could be an attempted caught and bowled.
It's very hard to tell. He smothered us and possibly a bump ball out. Let's have a look. No, straight catch. It's a straight catch. Well, as you rightly said, Norman May, the reaction of the player suggested a catch.
Botham from this end. He'll bowl to Wood. Well, there's that gone. It's up in the air, and Boycott is underneath it this time, and he has dropped it again. They'll take 2 runs. That was a hard one, there.
Oh, that was a hard catch, and no, don't blame Jeff Boycott for that. That was a most difficult catch, and frankly, I reckon he did well to even get a hand to it. No, Geoffrey Boycott, that's a great effort, I'm not kidding. Up it goes. Look at Wood, you can see him looking up, but you watch Boycott, he got a long run, and he's looking into that sun. I reckon he's done a great job, really. Just gone through his hand.
You made the point before about his shadow. Look where his shadow is,
yeah,
right underneath him.
Yes, and he'd be looking straight in the sun, which a lot of people don't realise.
No ball, and again it's out to his court this time. He caught it, no ball.
Well caught, Geoffrey, but of course he didn't have to look in the sun for that one, so there's nothing wrong with Geoffrey Boycott's eyesight.
Cozier facing Hendrick. Appeal for leg before. Not out.
Well, Tom Brooks will give you some heart attacks. You don't know how long he's going to take, and he's right in front. Tom's in good position here.
And runs a long chase for Boycott. Boycott's going to run here. He's got to chase it right down to the boundary, and the ball just might reach there. It's going to be close, and Boycott will get it. Yes, he does. They could run 4 if they want to. Now they're quite happy with 3. Now change here, Botham to going to over the wicket to bowl to Cozier. And he's clubbed that over mid-wicket. That's a very powerful shot by Cozier. A shortish ball, and he's made 4 out of that. That was a very well hit.
That same little short back punchy shot. He's very powerful, as we mentioned earlier, and that was a fine shot. What's this?
And Wood on 37, both of them again coming round the wicket. And that's hooked away in the air, but dropping safe between square leg and deep long leg and goes through for 4. Good shot there by Graham Wood. Both of them again. Two fairly easy runs there. Willis is a man down at long leg. I think it's fair to say that both of them will be trying him with 1 or 2 more short pitch deliveries such as that. With so many runs to spare, it's a gamble well worth taking. Boycott coming to the action this time on the opposite side of the field. It's pushed quietly away by Wood for 2 runs. Wood on 49, a new over from Hendrick. And hurrying quickly through. So the smartly taken single by Graham Wood brings him to his first 50 in this series. Good, solid performance, although he's been dropped a couple of times. Hendrick again to Cozier. There's the single that the crowd have been waiting for. That'll bring up the 100 for Australia. So 4 out for 100.
Well, there's 4 runs from a bouncer. I think intentionally played over the top by Cozier.
Yes, it's always pretty safe, that one. A high bouncer, if you really go after it on the square or back cut, you've got to be unlucky. Here it is now. You'll see Cozier giving himself room and helping it over the top, I believe. And it's bounced only a couple of times before running into the wicket. Here is from the other angle. Here is laying back. Bang. Away over the top. 40 love.
That's a better shot. Long chase for Gower. They'll cross for 2. And they'll be back for 3. There's a good shot from Cozier. Now that might reach the boundary. Running down the hill, and it'll be 4 runs. Cozier goes to 45. 4 for 139.
It's a great shot, this Cozier, leaning right into the ball. Beautiful transference of weight. And he's hit that one in the middle. And yet that just got to the boundary. Yet he's hit it at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
More runs here. It's Willis fielding. And 2 more to Cozier. He is now 47. It's 4 for 141.
Playing pretty well, Cozier, if he can just keep it going at this pattern, as long as he doesn't get a rush of blood to that very red head of his.
That's out. Cozier's out. LBW to the bowling of Miller for 47. And Australia now 5 for 141.
Yes, just what we're talking about then. That ball then was drifted. Cozier went for the big sweep. And the only doubt I might have had was the height, but certainly he was in front of the wicket. Have a look now. It's drifted a little bit, as you can see in the air. Certainly it was in line.
Single there to McLean. He's off the mark with that. And it's 5 for 143.
Lever has already taken a wicket. That was the first wicket, in fact, to fall last night when Darling was caught by Boycott, a most unusual dismissal. That's Wood on 64. And I suppose if Australia can save this game, Wood would just about have to bat right through.
Well, here's the man we want. Of course, he's lived rather dangerously, hasn't he, throughout this match? He's dropped by Brearley before he'd scored, and then Jeff Boycott had one chance he should have held, looking into the sun, a very high sky, trying to hook the ball, and then a little later, a similar shot, but Boycott had to run a long way, and I would not really classify that as a chance. Then to rub it in, Boycott caught him off a no ball.
And appeal for caught behind, but not out. Yes, he is again. A long delay by the umpire. Umpire Brooks in his last match delayed that time so long. I have never seen as long a delay as that to give a man out.
Well, that is the longest delay I have ever seen. Oh, listen to the applause. Listen to boos. Oh, well. Well, it's quite unanimous. Behind the wicket, all the players, or practically every player went up in unison, but the bowler didn't. And so there, umpire Brooks, the longest delay I could ever recall in giving a man out. And Wood's not happy, but all the boys behind the stumps went up as one. So let's have a look at that. Just watch the appeal from the men behind the wicket. Well, you saw it all, and it looks as though the wicketkeeper wasn't too happy. He didn't appeal, that's for sure. He took it rather nonchalantly. And the longest delay I can ever recall of an umpire giving a batsman out. Here it is again. Well, the ball hasn't deviated one fraction, has it? Straight through to Taylor. It looks as though he's just going to be happy to throw it back, and now he's changed his mind.
Miller to McLean. An appeal for leg before, and
caught and slipped.
Oh, he's caught by the slip fieldsman there.
Much faster delivery, and it's one that goes straight through, and for a second it looked as though it hit the pad, but you can see it hit the outside of the bat here. Good delivery, and much quicker one, and well caught.
And the field in place now for the off-spinner Miller, and Hogg to take strike.
Oh, and didn't that curl and didn't it spin? Well, I suppose it's about time for the little quick low one.
Bowled him, clean bowled him. The exact ball that was nominated by Keith Miller.
Well, you can pick them at times, can't you? I said about time, that low, fast one, and it got through. Hogg's right through and knocked him over.
And Lever will bowl to Yardley. And runs again. There's nobody out there. Chase for Gooch and Gower. Gower and Gooch having a real sprint for this. Watch the two of them come in, but Gower's too fast, and they go back for 3. 150 up for Australia, with Yardley going on to 7. And caught brilliantly. What a magnificent catch. Oh. Hendrick.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
A left-handed catch. That's as good a slip catch as you could see.
That's as good a catch I've ever seen. That wasn't even a catch. It's incredible reflex action. Oh, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. What's this? Whoosh. Well, you missed it, but I can assure you that's one of the greatest slip catches I've seen.
Did I say Hendrick? That was both of them, wasn't it? Eh?
Well, here we are then. Just about, I think, to see the last rights, but it's been a very disappointing batting performance by Australia here this afternoon. Only 3 men into double figures.
Well, there's a clout if you've ever seen one. He's taken that right over the mid-wicket area. That would have reached the fence at the back. That was as good a shot as we've seen. And Dimmock goes on to 6, and it's 9 for 160. Bowled. It's all over. Hurst bowled by Lever for 5. Dimmock not out 6, all out for 160, which means that England has won the second test by 167, and Lever finishes with great figures, 4 for 28.
What do you see was as the main difference between the two teams? Well, I don't know, really. We struggled through the first day. I think it was as big an achievement as anything, because that was when the conditions were best for bowling, and we had a fair bit of luck and a fair bit of skill. And then we've bowled extremely well. We kept the pressure on the batsmen all the time.
Graham, do you think the team, as it is good enough to fight back from 2 tests down in the series?
Oh, yes. India did it last year to us, so I can't see any reason why we can't do it to England.